This is not a referendum, I think, on the state of Israel. For me, the lens through which I saw this incident as an activist, as an organizer, if 60 people were killed in Ferguson, Missouri, if 60 people were killed in the South Bronx, unarmed, 60 people were killed in Puerto Rico, I just looked at that incident more through just as an incident. And to me, it would just be completely unacceptable if that happened on our shores.
This is AOC talking about the occupation in Palestine, the occupation. I'm the other Barak coming to you live and direct from apparently the place that's occupying Palestine here in Israel.
You have not really needed so far to take many foreign policy positions because you were seating a Democratic incumbent. But now you are very likely going to be going to Washington, and you'll have to sort of build out some of those foreign policy positions. You, in the campaign, made one tweet or made one statement that referred to a killing by Israeli soldiers of civilians in Gaza and called it a massacre, which became a little bit controversial. But I haven't seen anywhere. What is your position on Israel?
Well, I believe absolutely in Israel's right to exist. I am a proponent of a two-state solution. And for me, this is not a referendum, I think, on the state of Israel. For me, the lens through which I saw this incident as an activist, as an organizer, if 60 people were killed in Ferguson, Missouri, if 60 people were killed in the South Bronx, unarmed, 60 people were killed in Puerto Rico, I just looked at that incident more through just as an incident. And to me, it would just be completely unacceptable if that happened on our shores. But
of course, the dynamic there in terms of geopolitics and the war in the Middle East is very different than people expressing their First Amendment right to protest.
Well, yes, but I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition. And that to me is just where I tend to come from on this issue.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue. You know, for me, I'm a firm believer in finding a two-state solution in this issue, and I'm happy to sit down with leaders on both of these. For me, I just look at things through a human rights lens, and I may not use the right words.
If you're not an expert on this, but it's the most important conversation, apparently, according to the algorithms and social media and all of the human rights activists in the world, including people like herself, and you're a firm believer in a two-state solution. You've firmly gotten to a place that you believe in a two-state solution. You can't tell me that your firm belief in a two-state solution is because of apparent settlements that are making the housing situation for Palestinians a difficulty. You know what's making the housing situations for every single kibbutz in Yeshuv, in town and village near the southern border of Gaza with Israel? You know who's making it extremely difficult for those communities, those homes, those people inside of Israel to have the life that they need to have? Well, it's the same people that not only committed October 7th, AOC, it's the same people that you're claiming are being occupied by the same state that's having the issues that you're not willing to talk about. If you're firmly believing in a two-state solution, then firmly talk about both sides of the conversation. When people tee up Israel-Palestine by giving a context that is essentially, they're asking you to speak and ask questions based on what they want you to say of your belief system. They're not asking you to speak and ask questions that are nuanced based on the fact that there are two sides to a story. Because if you're going to sit here and say that you want a two-state solution, let's talk about the solution that both sides need. If you want to sit here and say that Israel's occupying Palestinians, then I'm going to sit here and say that Palestinians are terrorizing Israelis. Maybe ask yourself why there's a reason that they need to be occupied in the first place. Every cause has an effect. 1948 didn't just say, let's occupy, press occupy. They didn't just come here and plant a flag in the ground. They fought off people who didn't want them to establish a home in a place which was already their home. Every cause has an effect on both sides. But let's rewind. If you firmly believe in a two-state solution, then you have firmly shown me that you don't know what you're actually saying. You want a two-state solution with people who are willing to die. You cannot reason with people who are willing to die. One side of this solution that is supposed to be two-state, one side of them are very much public about the fact that they are willing to die in the pursuit of annihilating the one they're supposed to have a two-state solution with. But I'm not an expert. I just happen to know that because I live here. It would really help me, you, and the rest of the entire world if people like you, AOC, and everyone else who somehow has a firm opinion to shut your face and your mouth and your opinion. It is not even relevant to the conversation. I'll talk to you about basketball. I'll talk to you about fitness. I'll talk to you about content creation. I'll talk to you about storytelling. I'll talk to you about spirituality. I'll talk to you about the things that I love. What I won't talk to you about are things that I don't fucking know anything about. Or I'll probably only say a little bit about things that I only know a little bit about that I for sure don't have a firm belief in if I only know a little bit about it. But apparently you only know a little bit about Israel-Palestine, but firmly fucking believe in a two-state solution. Have a good day. Here are 4 ways you can help us grow if you believe in our mission. On Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal, you can directly contribute to helping this message grow and reach more people across the world. If you want to join the inner circle, join our Patreon with different tiers, and of course, our Discord community, which is free with people from all across the world. The links to every single one are in the description. And last but not least, to the other Brock community, I love you. Ani ohev otchem. I'll see you guys next time.